Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Happy up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
There was Michael Pollard, was it whatever?
Mike Pollard from Boys and Girls.
Okay.
Yep.
David Sweeting. I'm missing one or two that I read about a lot coming up, right?
Right.
And I'd be like, this nigga's averaging like 40. These guys didn't get those awards.
No.
Like, people don't realize how hard it is to get that in New York City at that time.
That's
You
right.
had to have a gun on you, bro. Like, literally out there doing numbers. Because if you went to certain schools, dudes like, man, it don't matter. Because
right.
Catholic school really got the nod over public school. That's a fact.
All the time.
So if you hear a guy say, yo, I did that, great accomplishment, brother. Great accomplishment. And like I said, it went over my head as a kid. I didn't take it as seriously as I probably respect it now, honestly.
So let's talk about when you got to Westchester, right?
Yeah.
Because we took that route, and once you got there, you said once you got to college, you kind of things started to kick in. What were some of the things that helped you transform on and off the court once you got to Westchester?
I had a kid. at 18. My first son at 18 years old. So that's real life now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Overnight, you went from a high school star to a father. You know what I mean? That's what got me serious. I mean, I'd probably be still bugging right now if I didn't have no kids. But yeah, I would say the birth of my first son, yes, had me like focused up, like, all right, shit, serious now. Playtime's over. You know what I mean? So I could say that event probably got me on a straight and out with thinking more and probably using my brain a lot more. You know what I mean? Because a lot more was reactive back then. You know what I mean? Could get in any situation. But once I had a kid, I started thinking a little better. I mean, more maturity, you would say. Mature. Now you're a father.
Right. And the things, what are some of the things that you did on the court that made you into a junior college All-American?
Well, my first year at Westchester at that time, I know I was all conference after that first year. So my name was already like ringing bells, which coming in there, they knew already. But the second year, my man, Dave Webster, which is from Clinton in the Bronx, probably one of the best players I ever played with. He was ineligible, had 2 twins, and that's who I went there with. So he was all city when I played in high school too, at Clinton. So he was a bad boy himself. 6'4", strong guard, and he was ineligible. And now I'm like, I got a good team, but it was me and him. And coach was like, what you gonna do? Ralph Arrieta, I played for 2 Hall of Fame coaches. Ralph Arrieta, Chuck Granby. And Ralph was like, hey, Paul, I have a tough one this year, man. I don't know. The projection that we had ain't gonna be there if Dave don't come out to school. I'm like, damn, man. Right when I'm about to kick some ass. And I made a decision at that point that I had a team that was young, so I got to boost them up. So what I would do is the first half, I always pass the ball. Get everybody involved. I had a kid named Mike Woodbury that played above the rim. My guy Jeff, that was a power forward at the time. He was Fred Sam for the rebounds. I had a kid on the wing that shot the ball pretty well. A kid named Mike Kearse. Wasn't no super talented guys, but they play hard individually together. And coach allowed me to, orchestrate. So, man, I just dissected the game. So I said in the first half of the season, get them boosted up, get them ready. I could average 40 in junior college if I wanted to. I averaged about 20-something, but it was a good 20. You know what I mean? I took the shots I was supposed to take. I kicked the ball. So I averaged maybe like last year, maybe like 20-some points, or maybe like 8 assists. I was MVP of the region. I had a good season. I ain't gonna lie, I had a good season. And coach told me, he was like, "Yo, if you do good this year, I think you could get it." I said, "Get what?" He said, "That award." I'm like, "Coach, look at this team we got." Another reason I'm saying I did it again. Yeah, right. Cause
Take it serious.
yeah, in the moment type shit,
Right.
surreal. And he's like, "Nah, Paul, I'm telling you, you started out good." And I know we had a tournament that we went to, and I don't know if you know, Mike Jordan had that flu game that he in Utah, that he had the flu and had like 40-some points and they won.
Yes. Yep.
Same thing happened to me. I had the flu, and coach like, "Yo, you could play?" I'm like, "Nah, I can't play." And then as we get to the game, I'm like, I'm just gonna watch. Like, I can't watch these dudes get smoked by these guys. Nah. So I go and tell coach, "Yo, give me a tea with lemon." And they go get tea with lemon. And I'm like, "Yo, give me some Theraflu." Like, "Nah, keep it Theraflu, because I might get like drowsy."
Mm-hmm.
And I went and played. And we ended up winning the game. We was nationally ranked at the time, but I was sick as a dog, bro. I had like 101 fever. I played in that game, and I passed out after the game. I had like 30-some points. And right after the game, we got downstairs, I just blacked out. And they took me to the hospital, whatever, fluids. I was dehydrated totally. Yeah. And coach turned around, and I guess everybody's heard about what had happened. We won the tournament. And after that, I went crazy. Like I said, we lost in the region. We was about to. So on my junior college team, that NJCAA, whatever they want to call it, I'm gonna give you the names of some of the people. So because I got the book still. Steve Francis, Sean Marion, Pete Michael, and the list goes on and on and on. So once again, there ain't no chopped liver on the court at that time. So when I hear like guys saying they could do this and they could do that, that era was different. Like, you had to be a dog.
That's
like,
right.
There's no, you had to earn that. So, like I said, I think I had a great year. Like I said, an MVP of my region at that time. I will give one team that I think, the one team that beat us, that I'm still pissed off about it to this day, was Monroe, the Bronx. They came to our house and beat us. We never lost at home. They came to our house and beat us.
Monroe was tough back then too.
That's what I'm trying to say. It was our rival.
Wow.
It was our rival. And
because I heard of Sullivan and I heard of
we smoked Sullivan.
Right?
Smoked Sullivan. They came to our house and smoked them.
And I didn't start to. I thought Monroe was a new school because I just see it everywhere, see it on the trains. I see guys with the shirts and stuff. I was just like, oh, maybe this is a new school that just came up. So they've been around for a minute.
Nah, my man Virgil Smiley went there. Virgil Smiley played with me at the Gauchos when I was in high school.
Okay.
So Virgil Smiley's like 6'7", 6'8", power. Like, I would say 4-man. Did everything though. Smooth. I thought he never really got the props he should have got. Virgil was nice. But he played on that team, and a kid named Mike Nurse, which ended up playing with Jamal Tinsley at Iowa State. He was the shooting guard.
Wow, yeah.
And he was like 5'11", maybe 6 feet.
Right,
but the kid, I ain't gonna lie, he's from Jersey, I believe. The kid jumped this high in his jump shot, bro. Got that shot off.
Like world beat free kind of.
Listen, Mike Nurse shot that ball. He shot a couple threes. I remember in our gym, like, I'm looking like where Steph is shooting from now. He shot from there.
Facts.
And I'm like, word? Nah, he ain't hitting that. Bang. I'm like, word? So they went on a run and they ended up beating us at the end. I remember that. And I was pissed off because we never lost at home. So that was one loss that I still to this day I'm pissed off about. But they won. They came up there and won. We was nationally ranked, so to lose was kind of like messed up for us. I think we was like number 14 in the country at that time. I think the whole time I was in Washington, we was nationally ranked most of the time.
Wow. So, how was the recruiting process for you after that point, right? Because, you had a box full of letters.
Yep.
And then, you had to go to the junior college route.
Yep.
You tore it up in junior college.
Yep.
And now the recruiting process starts all over again.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be frank. Like, coming out, I think Charles, like I said, Charles and them was at LIU.
Yeah.
And I could have went other places, but the way LIU was playing, I'm like, that's how I want to play. Press, run up and down. Coach Haskins he reminded me of Coach Granby.
They was close.
And
they
Jules
got
was there
into
with
a
him.
little beef in 1981. I'll tell you that off camera.
Okay.
But that was in the city championship in 1981. But they were very cool. Yep.
So we I went to a couple visits, and then I went to LIU. I remember, and I didn't give a crap about the school really, like as far as like campus atmosphere and all that. It was the program. And coach goes, all right, tell you what we do. Every Thursday and Sunday night we play ball up here. Come up here and play some ball. Like, coach, you talking to me like I'm scared to come to Brooklyn or something? Get on a train too. Got on a train. Downtown Brooklyn. GCAP, right? Or whatever it is. Go out there.
Right there, right across the street.
I ain't bugging.
Facts.
Go in the gym, you around. I mean, Mike Campbell and them was there talking to some agents back then because they was about to go. And Charles was talking to some agents when I walked in or whatever. Sat down, talked with them for a minute. And I'm like, man, where the gym at, man? That's where I want to go. So we go to the gym. Everybody's in the gym, mind you, because they allowed the college.
Brooklyn, that LIU gym stayed packed during the Charles
Everybody's
Jones
in
era.
the gym.
Facts.
So it ain't just their players. Everybody's in the gym. So I'm like, I bet. He put me out there. And I think at the time, the kid Virgil and them was there. Kareem Anderson, a bunch of other cats that I kind of was familiar with and wasn't familiar with. Matter of fact, at that time, Tiny Morton was playing basketball at the time. Tiny was up there. So
salute to Tiny.
Tiny, yeah, he was hooping. And went up there, smoked dudes. Real shit, no fronting. Smoke dudes. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I was on my game and in tip-top shape, I shot the ball from anywhere. I got in the lane. I was a problem. And scored from anywhere. So after I played that first night, coach was like, let me holler at you. Like, so what you gonna do? You gonna go down south or you gonna go out west? I'm like, coach, I got a kid that's right here, bro. I want to be right here. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, if I wasn't serious, I'd have took the offers I already got. I'm gonna come to you. He was like, Jules was like, another Westchester kid. Yeah, because Mike Campbell had just came from Westchester.
Yeah.
Mike Campbell went to Westchester.
Yeah.
So I signed. It's like, yeah, I'm going. And he got fired. Coach got fired in the middle of the summer or something like that. After everybody signed. So I was depressed, bro. Mind you, the new coach comes in, Ray Martin. And I didn't know Coach Ray. Still don't know him. But they pulled a flim-flam because you see how now the kids could go anywhere they want? We couldn't do that then. So you sign that letter of intent, you kind of stuck. And the MF, I'm going to say that, held out. It was like, because Ray Haskins signed 5 All-Americans coming into when Charleston was leaving.
First of all, let's just say this. It's Coach Ray Haskins or nobody.
Right.
Especially in that situation.
Right.
Okay? Legend within itself. He did it on a high school level. He did it at Shore University. And he did it at LIU. So every level he won at.
I was so depressed, bro. I'm not going to lie. My summer didn't go good. And I was working hard that summer to come into, tip-top shape. And at the last minute, a new coach? What the hell is this? So I'm pissed off. And then what they did was they was slick. They held out letters of intent until the last minute. Mind you, remember, school starts in New York the last for all the other states.
That's right.
So school starts in New York in September. Other states is like late July, August, beginning of August. So by the time they was like, we ain't honoring the letters, school started everywhere else. I ain't have a sit out yet. Pissed off. You hear me? I was about to be like, screw basketball. That's how I felt. You know what I mean? I put in all this work. You know what I mean? Sacrificed a lot of time. No Coach Haskins? Ray Martin? By the way, I'm saying this, I'm doing it on your platform. I ain't gonna call their names like I said I would. There's some coaches when I was coming up, local level, AUs or whatever, that I played with that I think used that also as a little opportunity when I didn't want to play for them to get back at me. And I'm going to say that because I found out years later, I'm telling you real facts, that this is a dirty game and basketball is a business, that guys that or coaches that I thought would be like have your best interest because you play with them as a kid or whatever. Behind closed doors, when Ray Martin came in, that was their guy. They kind of like pushed him in. They kind of like was like, nah, well, fuck Paul. That was their little time to get back because I wouldn't play with them or be like, nah, I ain't playing with you no more. So technically speaking, the way I look at it now from what I know, guys that even to this day think that I don't know, I do know. Behind closed door did some shiesty shit. So like I said, there was 5 guys. It wasn't just me. It was 5 guys and I was out of a school at the last minute. But I know who those people are now. And I talk to them. I mean, they didn't even know that I know this right now. But the reason I never said nothing about it, and I'm saying it now, because for the young guys out here and gals that's out here playing and putting it all into coaches, put into you. Because a lot of these MFs don't give a damn about you unless they could get something out of you. That's real facts. So if somebody cares about you in this business and they give a damn about you, you pay your homage, because there's people, family members and friends that you could put your energy into and they don't respect it. And when it's time for them to look out for you or put you in position or even give you your props or your flowers, they forget the time you put in with them. So I'm saying all that to say there's a lot of grimy cats in this business that do things behind closed doors that I thought gave a damn about me. But then when it came down to when I heard what they did and what they said, I'm still here. I'm still here, bro. And I get to see y'all in the business setting and laugh. So I'm telling you, like, there's a lot of sucker stuff that goes on that I learned about as a grown man that I didn't know as a kid. For real.
Well, I know one of the people who was always in your corner. Actually, 2 people. I work with one. Is Atif Aiken.
For sure.
Right? He always pushed. He's like, yo, you got to get my man QP on the show. And Ted Portwine.
Oh, man. Brothers. Right? Fellow Hickories.
These dudes is always pushing early on, like, yo, Pooh, you got to get a story. You know what I mean? I know you're getting everybody else, but his story is a little bit unique. So I know when a lot of you guys and girls are hearing these stories that my man QP is spitting out, this stuff is true, right? Some dudes, I could tell they make excuses for a lot of things that happen to them, but when you got guys who are validated, who really don't have to lie for anyone, and this is behind his back, he don't know what's going on. I didn't have to tell him this. It was all positive things and knowing that some of the things he had to go through. So when you hear people holding you back, not being in your corner, not having your best interest, and it could detour your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it could totally change your whole circumstances. You won't really know or understand until you hear it from the person's mouth. So the reasons why we have this platform is so you can get the real stories, right? Because someday somebody may tell Paul's story and get all the facts wrong.
Right. And a lot of people didn't know. I'm going to tell you honestly, because, you know, a lot of people probably thought, like, you know, because I ended up having to go Division II
right
after that, and was Division II All-American too, by the way. But what happened is people would slight my name because they'll say, like, you know what, he ain't do this, he ain't do that, or he wasn't there. Let's be clear. The numbers don't lie. I can't control a man getting fired in my last year of junior college. But knowing what I know now, as a father, as a coach, I always try to change that monotony. If a kid played for me, I went all out for them. If they played hard for me, I went all out for them. And even this is after basketball on the court. I'm talking about personal life. And they can tell you that. Any one of the kids that played for me can tell you that. They could call me anytime right now. I still pick up my phone. So when I say all that, there's a lot of dudes out here with their own best interests at heart. You know what I mean? They used us for certain scenarios. I think we got more love from some guys on the streets more than some of these coaches when I look back now. Because a lot of these coaches was in it for selfish reasons. And don't get me wrong, I think guys deserve their due when it comes to if a dude need $1 or he's putting his time out, because I learned that as a coach. I spent my own money. I'm saying that to say, if you're going to be a coach or a mentor to a kid, let your motives be known. Let it be known. Because parents use coaches too, kids use coaches too, and they don't remember who did what. And I can tell you from my own life, I've sacrificed a lot for kids because of what I saw me and a couple of my colleagues, Skip, Bill, just dudes just went through to get to this point. So it's imperative that you change that monotony and let it be known. Like if you have a motive, you say, look, this is what I'm looking for out this deal. Because at one point when I coached, it was guys that very good friends of mine, by the way. I had some power. Dudes just running around saying, I got money for kids to go to college. That hurt me. I stopped coaching because of that. Because I felt like dudes saw my success and was judging my personal success from other ventures as someone gave me $1. That was never the case.
Especially for a kid.
I actually spent my own money. These kids can tell you they came to my house and stayed if they had to. That's a fact. So when I was hearing that, I'm like, what? I got my own business, bro. Oh, he sell drugs or he do this. There's a kid, Justin LeBoy. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Justin LeBoy is a kid that I encountered. Maybe he was 14 years old. He played with me on Metro Hawks. I was coach then. He's 14 years old. A kid that I liked. I thought he was a jokester, talented, about 6'2" at the time. I thought he had some skills. He played with us for a little while, and then he moved on to other places and doing other great things, right? And at the time, I used to ride these kids around in Range Rovers and shit like that. So the other day I talked to him, and I needed him to do something for me. And you know what he said to me? He said, yo, coach, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're the first person to show me the things that I know now is life. I never rode in a Range Rover. I never seen a crib like I never did. And at the time, like I said, surreal, over your head. You're not even thinking like that. When he said that to me, it kind of was like put me in a time warp. Because I'm saying like, man, I wasn't even thinking that at the time. I was just trying to give back. You know what I'm saying? And he told me, he's like, yo, you the one that sparked that thing that I wanted to be successful because I saw that. And if somebody ever humbled me, that was humbling. You know what I mean? Because I'm sitting there like, wow, I wasn't even thinking like that. You know what I mean? I was just trying to do what somebody did for me when I was growing up.
That's right.
So when people talk about, I got money, ain't no college coach in America or agent could say they gave me $1. What I can tell you what I did get. I said, if you come in town and your team is playing, send me a ticket. Send me some sneakers or sweatsuit. Let me bring some other kids to the game. That was it. So.
Because that's the give back.
That's it. Right. That's it. And I did it because, let's be clear, I lost a son that I told I would coach when he was a certain age. My first kid that I told you about, I lost him. He died when he was 5. So I promised that I would coach when he was a certain age, and I did that for 10 years. So, and all the joy that people got, it was giving me no greater joy because I got to do something that I promised I would do. Wow. So that was my give back. You know what I mean? So when guys were talking about money, I would have never took $1 from nobody. I wouldn't have, because it was my sanctuary. That was my therapy. That was me getting over things that I was dealing with. You understand what I'm saying? So, like I told you, and I get on it. I lost that kid, and I'm gonna pass that point. Trevor Diggs, Trey Diggs, his father, God bless his soul, was coming to my games out in West Bubba to watch me play and support me when a lot of people that I thought gave a damn about me didn't. They came to my games, bro. So to see him the other day, God blessed me to be able to like have a moment with him in his essence before he passed. And I'm thankful because they don't know how much that kept me going. To know that someone actually cared. Him and a young lady named Danielle Gardner that used to do documentaries on us as kids playing basketball. Those were the only two, and Billy Medley used to come to my games.
Wow.
When you lose from, like you said, up here, and you go from here to now nobody come to see you play because you ain't where they said you should be, those were some of the only 3 people that came to games and really promoted me and supported me. So you go from here to here real quick, you got to be strong. So those people, I can honestly say, I could give flowers and say, no matter what sun was shining or it was raining, they was there. And Mr. Diggs was one of them, and his wife. Yes, definitely.
They're such wonderful people, you know. And like I told you, and I said this on numerous occasions. He was the only man in the neighborhood to come see me play. And at the time when I was coming up, I was the only guy in the area playing high school basketball. So I gave a lot of the kids in my neighborhood hope.
Yes.
And the fact that he would come to see me play, and then years later, I started this basketball show and was able to get the Coliseum fixed through my show. And then we honor Mr. Diggs and naming the court after him. And then he passed some month later.
Yes. That was like, was October? November?
No, it was actually this summer. We passed it. I think he passed it in October. We got it. We presented him in August.
That was the day you presented it to him was the same day of that softball game, because he was leaving.
That's
there
right.
To go
That's
to,
right. That's right.
To
That's
the game.
right. That's right.
That's the last time I saw him.
Wow.
So the day y'all presented that award is the last time I seen him.
Right.
Facts. That was humbling itself to hear that he passed.
This man would be the only man when we were younger taking us out the neighborhood to play basketball. He was a father, mentor to us all. And again, it's like the Most High was like, "Pooh, I'm gonna give you this opportunity to pay this man back."
That was big. He was honored. I know he was kind of like, I remember talking to him about it that day in the park, and he was like, "They're gonna give me an award today," and his wife was like, "Yeah, they're gonna honor him today." I'm like, "Word," and he was humbled. Man, he was humbled. I remember that.
Just him hugging me and just giving me that brotherly love and saying, you know, "Thank you, Pooh." You know what I mean? And his wife.
I didn't actually know till today you was the one that gave him the award. That's big.
Well, we did it as a community. My award was the court.
Got it.
Being able to name the court after him. And then after that, we built this committee, right? Because there's a whole, one day I'm gonna do a whole show. I'm gonna bring in some of the guys and girls from my committee, and we're gonna do a whole show how this all started and how this came about, because there was politicians involved. There was some cutthroat stuff happening.
I can imagine.
But we got it done, and then we built this committee to form the Brevoort Basketball League, and also the umbrella company is called the Thomas Diggs Foundation. And Thomas Diggs Sports Foundation.
I've been watching the highlights too. Them kids getting it in.
Oh man, you gotta come to one of the games.
I will.
You gotta come down, bro. You gotta come down. Definitely show you some love, man. So, you know, again, my condolences
for sure
to your son and all the stuff you had to go through. What are some of the things that drive you today? And one of the things that some of the things that make you a success that you are?
Good question. Well, I'm gonna say this. The essence of that young man is I was already probably a determined kid, and I think that determination came from not being the best probably coming up. So having to really go to the park and work out by yourself and imagine things and scenarios, to implementing in the game and it working, to getting the success and then losing everything one day and being humble for real, life humbling, because people get humbled, but when life humbles you, it's different. And being depressed, not seeing no reason to live at that time, because everything was about, you know, your child. But There was a kid that he died now. He passed on, but he was a good friend of mine from my block. His family lived like 2 houses over on 192nd Street on Linden Boulevard. He kid named D. Huggins and my man Wiz that just passed on. Actually, both of them are not even here no more. God bless them.
Rest in peace.
They knocked on my door a couple days. Like at the time, I don't even think I wasn't even bathing, bro. Like frequently. I was messed up. I went to hell, bro. And I remember him knocking on the door one day. And he's like, "What you doing, man?" And I'm sitting. I used to be able to sit and watch who walks by the house. But I was always sitting there. And he's like, "What you doing?" I ain't doing nothing. He's like, "Come outside." I'm good. Yo, you gotta come outside, bro. And they did that every day for like a good couple days. I remember like maybe a week off and on. Then I was like, all right. I mean, because I was in a bad space. You know what I mean? At 23 years old, it's a bad space to be in.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? And they got me to come outside and just be me again. And the drive actually comes from knowing that humbling experience taught me that time waits for no man. You know what I mean? So while you here, live while you can live. Like, do what you got to do. So sometimes it actually creates a little anxiety for me, or how can I put it? I'm goal oriented, so if I see something, I'm going to get it. That's my mind state, and it's something that probably was enhanced through that experience. So my mind, no matter how long it takes, I'm going to get it. And that's just how I'm built. Like, you know, I think sometimes I put a little too much pressure on myself because of that, but that's who I am now. Like, I'm into that. I think it just developed from that. Like, really, basketball, the competition part of it, but then I guess that tragic event just had me on some, I got to do what the hell I want to do while I could do it. I mean, and that's it.
You never know when it can end.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Shit, you go from seeing your kid to not seeing your kid. It's
Right.
like, you know what I mean? I could tell you, like, they say you're supposed to outlive your kids, right? So when you gotta bury them, it's a different feeling. It's part of you's not here. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what nobody tells you, that part is gone. As we know it, physical realm. So I could honestly tell you that that's what got me that I want this, so I'm gonna do that. So I've done everything that I ain't gonna lie. The Most High has blessed me, man. I'm gonna tell you no lies, man. And I've had a lot of money and I've not had a lot of money, but you ain't gonna know. You know what I mean? Because I know what it's like to be at the bottom.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So done what I want to do to this point. Now, anything I want to do, I'm gonna do it. That's me.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And maybe that was my inspiration. That's the guardian angel then. That's telling you that you could do it. That's me.
That's real. You want to get your, because I see people.
They looking for me, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
It's all good. It's all good.
And usually, you know, again, I wanted to let you do that so people can get an idea. I don't mind you posting it, whatever you want to do with it, so people get an idea.
What you doing?
What's to come? There you go. But also, I think your story is important. You know, again, I've done over 250 shows now in these last 2 years, and these moments, right? I call these moments where guys have these kind of situations that kind of, you know, it may be tragic to some people, even to you, what you was going through at the time, but what comes out of that, right?
Right.
It's like a rose growing through concrete.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And still blossoming.
That's an ill analogy.
You know what I mean?
Now, I just started talking about this. I never normally talked about it.
I had an asterisk on it, whether I was going to ask it or not. But I heard you mention it earlier, so I was like,
nah, it's cool, bro.
Cool, comfortable talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody told me once before that you may think your pain is just your pain, but your pain might help somebody get through their pain. You understand what I'm saying? So some people they get uncomfortable when I talk about it, like family members, but I'm living, bro. Like, how can I be mad? Like, I'm living. You know what I mean? So that's inspiration for me. Like, could be a lot worse, man. I walk by people every day. They got scenarios where they strung out, or they depressed, or they lost their mind. And I've been all those places as far as like losing my mind. And I could honestly say, like, the Most High has blessed me, man, to be able to see it full circle, 360, come back and be like, this is what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like, I was 23 then. I'm a grown man now. Like, for real, I was a kid still then. To honestly see it and say, I lived through that. I could do anything. Do anything. And that's for everybody.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That's just not just for me. That's living testament that, yo, what happens today should never define what happens tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, so I'm always looking for the next day, which sometimes, like I just said to you, don't live in the moment. So if that's been my biggest problem in life, is enjoying the moment. I could honestly say I missed out on that. But that's who I am. I mean, I ain't got no complaints. That's who I am.
That's real, man. What did you do to rediscover yourself after basketball?
Many roads, bro. Many roads. After basketball, I stopped playing basketball when that young man passed. So guys was running to play at this and that. We was playing at the Ruck as kids. So I stopped really playing competitively. Like, I didn't have the love. I lost my love. You know what I mean? So I think getting a degree and actually having to pick life up and move on. I worked at a company for like a year and a half. And I'm like, this is not for me. I mean, and I just started, you know, a friend of mine was doing some real estate and I got into that. And that real estate has brought me to a lot of other endeavors business-wise. So the motivation came from actually sports, of course, but just success, just trying to, just competing still, you know what I mean? Still competitive, you know what I mean? Challenging myself mentally. Always asking what's next. You know what I mean? These are the things that probably I could say got me to this point where I'm always on that edge, where I'm looking for the next venture or whatever. And the edge was probably basketball. You know what I mean? Basketball has probably got me to the what's next. Let me get at this. You know what I mean? So real estate opened the doors to me being a sports agent at one point. Entrepreneur endeavors with partners and stuff, things of that nature. Sports, man. Basketball. That's why, you know, the people that give back, I have to say thank you. I mean, some of them are probably going on other things, if they're not still here, coaches, but if they can hear me, you know what I mean, thank you, because where would I be without basketball? Where would I be? I even say to my dad, I had to say him one time, like, yo, honestly, man, thanks, B. Because the 80s was the crack era. The Bronx was the war zone, bro. The burnt down Bronx is a real statement. People that don't know. So to move to Queens.
Was it your dad that kind of moved y'all out of the Bronx?
Yeah,
Okay.
street guy. And shit was going on, you know. Had to get us up out of there. You know, he got us in a better situation where life looked a little different. I mean, I'm from the trains. I'm from walking down steps to the train. I'm from going downstairs or down the hall, let me get some sugar, some cool, you know what I mean? That type of stuff. You know what I mean? Family, lived on the building and stuff like that, but I'm really from the Bronx. Be like, kids sometimes got different outlooks on life. So to move to Queens and see houses and kids got real yards, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is life. You know what I mean? So I could say that gave us the opportunity to live. You know what I mean? A different life. You know what I mean? Realization of course we was around drugs and all that. We saw it every day because I grew up in that understanding, but it wasn't reality all the time. I mean, I could really go home and say, I got a room that I could go watch a TV and chill, you know what I mean? And play in the backyard and clean up some grass and just real life. So where would I be if he didn't bring us to Queens? I think that all the time, like, where the hell would I be?
And then outside of that, right, you think about it allowed you and gave perspective to grow even when things, got bad for you, right? There was still room to grow and still room to have more dreams and figure yourself out to where you at today, right? Because you come full circle and still completing that 360.
That's a fact. That you just humbled me, man. Because where would I be? Sports. That one chance my dad said we getting up out of here to basketball, to college, 2 degrees, businesses, wins and losses of life, and can honestly say I'm thankful.
And he pulled up in the Benz, y'all. Let's just say
Sky.
that. Let's just say that, all right? My dude pulled up in the Benz, all right?
Sky's great.
So, if you had one thing to change, right, QP? If you could change one thing, what would that be?
In life?
Yes.
I always say I wouldn't change nothing because it happened for a reason. I would say that normally and still probably stand by that. But if there was one thing I would change in my life, or one of them I should say, I'd have took school more seriously earlier.
Because that's something you could control.
Yes, I could control that. And you could only control what you could control.
That's right.
So I would have took school more serious then in high school because I had the tools. I just did enough to pass or to get by because that's who I was. But that's what I would change, if anything, because knowing now where education has brought me and allowed me to peak and read and challenge and see, like, I now know that the history taught to me in school is not my history. I now know that the things that they say is not factual. You know what I mean? Like, you get to see where they hide the truth. So education, I would tell anybody, and I'm not saying you got to be a scholar, but educate yourself to the world and its surroundings and your history, because our culture is the most raped and robbed culture in man's existence from the beginning. But we were the naturally given people. We taught. We were the fortunate. We taught. We gave. Those kindnesses turned into our weaknesses, right? And then our legacy was robbed. You know what I mean? Raped and robbed. So knowing that now, can't no man come to me with certain things. I ain't no dummy. You could trick me in other things, but you can't come to me about certain things because I have knowledge of who I am now and our people and other people and cultures and understand it. So that education that I probably took for granted as a young man, I cherish now because you see the world a little differently.
And the education you got allowed you to really understand what's really going on, right? See, it's the difference. We just talking about just having book smarts and all these paper degrees. But if you're not smart enough to understand what's really going on, then you kind of lost in the source. So when I tapped into your live that day, I said, not only we going to talk about basketball, but I'm going to bring them back because, B, there's so much more to us that people really know, right? So I'm going to bring you back. We're going to have just a social commentary talk. You know what I'm saying? I'll bring you back. I'll bring Ted in here. We're going to come in here one day and maybe one other person so we can sit down and just have just a real man conversation. Now, the other day, Zavarian played in Brevoort.
Okay.
And you could watch, I don't know if you saw the clip of the kid shooting the lights out.
Yeah.
He had like 7 threes, right?
Caucasian kid or Spanish kid? Oh,
yes. Aaron Goldstein.
Oh, he's
right?
tough. I saw that kid.
The people in the park start calling him Swish. They were just giving him all kind of nicknames. And I was just saying to my guy, I said, you know how I know we the people of the Most High? Because you can have 3 legs, be orange. But if you can rap, if you could play ball, if you could dance, if you could do something special that we like, we're going to give you props.
Naturally.
Unlike
other coaches,
if you're too good, they're probably going to kill you or lynch you. And I'm not saying that
I get it.
this would have happened today, if this would have happened back in the days, we still would react the same way. We still would give that person or those people love.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
You see, you go in there, bro, and the people you actually be in this room and that conversation is a powerful meeting. That would be a powerful
Oh,
conversation.
no, we're going to go there.
But it might go over people's heads. And I learned that too, because it's kind of like how in the hip hop culture, they'll be like, I don't understand what Nas talking about. Just say Nas, for instance.
Yes.
Right? And everybody has their choice in I guess, favorite rappers or topics they like based on their life or what they choose to be a fan of. And then they'll say, we don't understand what Nas is talking about, right? So that conversation you want to have in this room, it's a tough conversation because you got guys that understand what a trilateral commission is.
Oh, come on,
So,
man.
Most dudes don't know what a trilateral commission is.
But we gonna explain to them, right? And we gonna give it to them in such layman terms where it won't go over no one's head. Trust me, fam. Like the first book that I read, that I'm gonna go there, right? We talk about Behold a Pale White Horse, right? That's how I was introduced to that, and I saw that book,
wow,
over Big Daddy Kane's house.
Listen,
right? And it just happened to be Busta Rhymes' book.
I'm in the right room.
Okay, so trust me. So when I tapped into you that day, and you were speaking about what you were speaking about, the reason why I was so captivated because I was like, he gets it, and not too many people get it, right? You have no idea. So many people that know me was like, yo, G, you should create another show about all the others that you know about, right? And I said, I'll sprinkle in here and there.
Yeah.
Right?
Because guess what? I'm in the right room. I'm saying that because a lot of dudes ain't trying to go to that level.
Nah, they scared.
They're not trying to go there because that's scary, right? So you said they're scared. Yeah, that's scary. And it's not for every intellect.
No.
You know what I mean? And
because everybody don't want to know. First of all, everybody don't want to know. Everybody don't want to know because once you get to that point where you talking about, how the world really works, right? What's really important, right? And I think for me, like you had your situation, and I told you early on, right, off camera,
I get
about my family situation and what I had to step into as a young man. Not knowing, like, for instance, right? When I play ball, my brother who's the same age as me, salute, 6, he was a hustler.
Got it.
But he's straight now, got a great family, he's a grandfather. But when we was coming up early on,
he had to do.
He did what he had to do. And if I wasn't playing ball and I was out there, I'd probably be doing the same thing.
Facts. We all probably would have. Yep.
Right? So I didn't understand how he was able to have what he was having, not the material things, the things that allowed him to get those material things. And why I was there, why I was in our community.
Right.
Why when I was coming home, I was kicking over crack valves like it was gum on the street.
Needles, crack valves.
Right? And I told you, I had brothers and sisters who was hooked to it, and I had brothers who was selling it. Right? So, not gonna get too deep, but those are the kind of things where those things kind of started at, and for me to figure out how this world really works. I work in special ed. I see that most of the kids are black young boys, right? I see the thing that's in foster care, how it's mostly black kids in foster care. I look in the jail systems, and it's mostly black people locked up. Right? So you look at all those things. How about this? When you go to the schools, the bricks in the schools, the same bricks that's in the projects, hospitals, and jails.
Familiarity of your surroundings.
We go down the steps in the schools. There are cages on the stairwells.
Keep you thinking that that's where you belong. That's your norm.
Right? The schools, the classrooms, and the cells.
Oh, man.
The halls got the lines down the middle of the hall, right? It's so much. I'm telling you,
He's going there. He's going there.
You get what I'm saying?
Nah, you going in because, I can't have that conversation with everybody, bro. It's really not for everybody, but the ill part of it is It's understood. You understand? I understand. So a simple thing is this. Now think about this. In the 4th grade, and I could tell people this story. We moved to Queens when I was about the 4th grade. And I remember I was in South Bronx. We didn't learn much. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I wasn't the best reader at that point.
Me either, fam.
And I was labeled.
I'm not putting my hand up.
Nah, that's facts. I was labeled. See, coming from the Caribbean, when I came to this country, I think every male in my age group and older that from my family was left back in the 1st grade, automatically. So automatically you got the stigma on you because you came here from another country.
How do you leave a kid back in 1st grade?
Let's go here. So my dad finally makes a transition to get us to Queens, and I'm stumbling and bumming through a book, and they're like, nah, we might want to put him in special ed. My mom was like, give credit to my mother at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times as parents, we let people tell us what we should do with our kids instead of saying, nah, this what we gonna do. My mom's like, nah, ain't nothing wrong with him. He gonna apply himself. And my mother believing in me gave me the opportunity to learn. Because they would have labeled me and I'd probably be in the shelf somewhere. Or acting out somewhere. Or not be here or somewhere else. You get it? Because they take away your opportunities to be successful. We already have a limited amount of chances because they limit it on purpose because of our greatness, our essence, our uniqueness, our culture, our rightful birthright. I'm going there. He brought it out. She said no. And I was in the lowest 4th grade class they put me in. And I tell this story to be real because some of those guys are still my friends, some guys in that class. And I went from the lowest 4th grade class, and they put me in a program, RIF. Reading is fundamental. And the lady, when I started, Miss Heard and Mrs. Roses White, I believe it was. And she said, ain't nothing wrong with Paul. He just got to do it more. So I went from that low class going to that program an hour or two a day in the school year, in the day, and then going back to class to the top 5th grade class, to getting skipped, to the top, all of that. All of that. So it was over. I wasn't allowed to be labeled because of my mother, right? And this is for parents to understand that you got to get into your kids' education, because if you allow them to label them young black boys to be, he a thug, he a gangster, or he a fool, or he an idiot, or he crazy, they take on that persona because that's what they're being told. The bricks are the same, the gates. That's real stuff that they put, and it was systematically done by them teachers and them programs back then, because they had to do statistics and studies, which now shape your life. They put you in projects because you're a project, or this area is a project that we're studying. So these people can live on this, and this, but they can only do this, and this. They're going to get the worst food. They can only afford certain food. And you put them on top of each other, and they act like animals. They act out. That's by design.
But it also takes on a mentality.
Of course.
Right? And I always say, it's not, like the Rakim said, it ain't where you from, it's where you at. Right? Now, let me give you a little history in that.
I'm listening.
Special ed was created as a compromise letting black people into the schools. You get what I'm saying? So it wasn't until that I think back into my prep school years when I really started getting educated, when I went to MCI. Even though I went to Abraham Lincoln Multicultural School, great academic school, I just did enough to play sports. But when I went to MCI, there was 12 kids to a classroom, 1 teacher. In special ed, there's 12 to 2.
Right.
Right? There's the teacher and assistant teacher.
Right.
But they got us in public school 35 kids, one teacher.
Word.
Right? You think who's getting
Word.
the real benefit of the doubt? I think the special ed kids are getting a little bit more
Attention.
than 35, 40 kids to a classroom and one teacher. And the teacher don't know everybody's name. And here's another thing. And then we're gonna move on to our top 5. All right. The Pavlov theory thing with the bell. When you go into a classroom, you learn a subject, the bell rings, it wipes out the memory of what you just learned, and you go into the next class.
We in the right room, man. I'm in the right room.
So, yo, I've been in education over
over
20-some
You
years.
get
So
it. You see it.
and I see it. And if someone can tell me, yo, I went to high school for 12 years and I was able to do something in the real world, they're lying to you. It's a 12-step program, just like 12 hands on the clock, just like 12 people in a jury. You know what I'm saying? 12 months in a year, right? And that's a whole deeper side that we're going to get to.
Stages and phases.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, I'm telling you, my dude, that morning when I woke up and I got in your live and I saw what you was talking about, I don't, if it's not saying, I don't really comment on people things
I saw.
Unless it hits home. And I was like, damn, he's really getting to it. So when I told you we're going to do this show and then we're going to do something else real special where we can kind of open up the floodgates on this.
That was big.
And let everybody know that these ball players have a real understanding of how the world works and we're not just some jocks who got things handed to them.
Basketball opened that door.
Facts, it did.
Basketball opened that door.
Facts. So now we're going to get into the top five, baby. We need to do that right now.
Okay.
One of the hardest parts of the shows. Hopefully you'll, glide right through it. The G that you are.
Go ahead.
Mr. QP.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You only can name 5, though.
Okay.
Top 5 ballers you played against.
Against? On any level.
Any level. Anywhere.
No specific order?
Nah, man, it's
All
on
right.
you, baby.
Top 5 I played against. There was a kid that I actually liked. His game. Cesar Sanchez. Washington Heights. Tough kid. I think like 6'5", 6'6" guard.
Cesar Sanchez, where you at? Holla at your boy.
I think he overseas or in Dominican Republic, wherever he's from. I think so. Gotta say Ray for Austin. Gotta say Ray for because Marbury as well. Tough competition. You felt their presence on the court.
Talking about Steph.
For sure.
Okay.
Marbury, yeah.
Okay. Steph, you're always welcome. You're a Lincoln guy. Skip on the show twice, and he says he's coming to the studio next time he comes to the city.
Yes.
So salute to my guy.
Yes. Steph, Skip, Cesar Sanchez, I was always like a big fan of like playing, when you playing with somebody, you like, oh,
Tough.
Shamgar Wells.
Sham, my guy, yep.
I gotta give Kareem his props too, because we always bumped heads when we played against each other. So.
Kareem Reed.
Yes, that's a fact. Yeah.
No
So
doubt.
that's 5?
Yes.
Right.
Definitely a friend of the show. Salute to my guy Kareem Reed.
I missed one too, damn.
Nah.
But go ahead.
Because you only can name 5.
I got you.
No subs.
Got it.
See, you see how guys do? They want to bring the
Yeah,
subs.
I just thought
they want to bring off the dudes off the bench. They
Nah,
wanna
guys.
you know what? And I got an honorable mention.
Yeah,
Boom, come on.
I do. But
See,
go
I
ahead.
told you. This is how it goes. All right. This is really going to cause some trouble right here.
That was against, so all right, cool.
This is going to cause a lot of trouble, fam, because this is where you live, man. Top 5 ballers from Queens.
Ooh. I didn't give my guy Stephen Frazier enough props. Steve Frazier was an intricate part of my career, my game. Taught me how to shoot the ball with efficiency. You know what I mean, taking good shots, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, and how to build your shot, distance-wise. So Steve Frazier, I got to say, definitely one of the most skilled ball players I've ever seen. His workout, I still do to this day. So that's what allowed me to do what I was doing. But anyway, Steve, David, of course, Mr. Edwards, Mr. Anderson. Oh, they get the misters.
True legends.
Yes. That's 3.
We got 2 more.
I gotta say, I was a super fan at one point of Ed Booger Smith. When people didn't see him in junior college at Arizona Western, but I saw tapes of him in junior college at Arizona Western. That lady Danielle that I spoke about earlier, she had tapes, and I was like, woo.
Bugs, my guy.
And Park is one thing, but if you could play college ball, like, there's a lot of dudes that say it was great, playground legends. Relax. A lot of dudes could not play structured basketball, call plays, run plays, and be efficient and execute. That's number 4, I said, right? 5. Wow, that's a tough one. You just put me in an ill spot, bro. In Queens?
Well, actually, Booger's not from Queens.
So I can't use Booger.
No. But speaking of Booger, Booger was great because he made other people a lot better.
Yeah. Kids ran the court when he got the ball.
Booger's actually from Fort Greene, Brooklyn.
So I dropped the ball. No Queen. No, he's not Queens, but I gave him his props anyway. Damn. James Stymie Phillips.
His name come up a lot on my show.
Probably the best basketball player I played with that didn't, I think, reach his peak of greatness. Made the game look easy. Did things in the air easy. Probably didn't know how good he really was, to be honest. That's 4?
Yep.
5. I gotta say my guy Ted. Ted was so fucking fast. I'm like, yo, Ted, slow down, man. Like, pull up. Pull up. So you know he didn't hit 5, 6 in the ring. Like, yo, calm down, bro. And I was playing against Ted as a kid coming into high school. They would just finish high school.
And he was stronger than most.
Man. And jumped.
Oh, yes.
And jumped.
Yes.
Physically up top, strong. Finished. Oh, man, Ted was tough. Tough.
That's 5.
That's 5. All right. So.
All right. Last one. Last one. Who are your top 5 players in New York City history?
In no specific order, so y'all know.
Specific order.
I'm going as it comes off. I gotta say Zendom, the Batman Hamilton, because when I seen him in high school, it was a force. Tim Thomas.
Tim Thomas actually from Jersey.
So it gotta be the tri.
It gotta be New York.
Felipe.
But if you say Long Island counts as well, I always
right.
say that.
All right, so if you're doing 5 boroughs, then okay.
No. We're doing when I say New York City, you know, I'm really like New York. Like
Luis Felipe Lopez.
Oh, for sure. The Dominican Jordan.
Yes. Kenny Anderson, of course, Mr. Chibbs. Ooh, gets tough now. Guys that I was in awe of. Khalid Reeves. Like, kid was tough.
Very, very tough.
That's 3?
That's 4.
That's 4? Missing somebody. Juju
Marbury.
Juju.
Norman Juju Marbury. And he even say Steph, right? You think about, look.
Juju.
No matter who I had on the show, no one named the same 5 people.
Nah.
Right?
Not possible.
Kenny probably made most people's list. But Steph, but you didn't mention Steph. But out of your group, Kenny make most people's list. But everybody else's list is different. Everybody's list is different. You know, me coming from a different era, I probably named some earlier dudes that I probably saw. And a lot of times we talk about the dudes that we saw, right? Dudes that we kind of familiar with. And it's easy to name, you know, the Kareem,
and I missed a lot
Kenny Smith, Bernard, King, you know what I'm saying, Rolando Blackman. We can name all those people, Tiny Archibald, Pearl Washington, Derek Chivas. There's so many to name.
Right.
But the reason why I love asking that question because I get a different vibe. Oh, yeah, and you know, just to get guys in trouble a little bit.
Oh, man.
Because, you know, your guy, Squeak was like, yo, if he don't mention me tonight, he gonna have beef. He gonna have beef. So, you know.
I missed a couple, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I apologize, man. Shout out to my man Shaheem Holloway. I thought Shah was a tough guard coming up.
He made New York City look so good.
Coaching, yeah.
He always has, but when we talk about on that national stage to be able to coach those kids the way he did, and in those interviews, be really New York. You know how some coaches, they kind of switch up and they're talking like
he was himself.
He was himself.
He was himself. And he was in his element too, because, you know, I give him his props. I think, and this is not to piggyback off of what you said about him coaching and doing whatever. This is just what I always thought. I felt like, because Shaheem, when we was growing up, we're like not far from each other. People don't know, like, his brother's a good friend of mine, Deshaun. And Rafa's brother is a good friend of mine, Ramar. So we all in the same class of brothers. I got a younger brother. They got younger brothers. So we all hung out and played against each other and did things like that. I felt Shaheem made, you know, in life you get choices. I think Shaheem made probably the greatest choice that a man could make at the time when he made it. He was about to leave junior high school to go to high school, and he left New York City.
He left New York City. Yes.
And he gave himself an opportunity to see other things.
That's right.
And he was taught other things, and he saw different things. And now he was a big fish in a small sea, right? Jersey wasn't as exploited as it is now. Mm-hmm. So he went and became the big name in New Jersey. And I thought when he made that decision, people, you know, said he should have went to here because he was supposed to come to Jackson, from what I remember. And that would have been great.
But I don't think he would have been McDonald All-American.
I think Shaheem was a special talent at that time. I think he'd have been a bad motherfucker anywhere he went, but
I'm not saying he wouldn't have, but
exploitation that he had in Jersey.
Yeah.
He was an All-American as a freshman. Like, dudes don't be getting that shit till last year of high school. Mm-hmm. He was an All-American as a freshman, so I think he made the biggest and the best choice one can make at 15 years old or whatever age he was, 14 years old, to go to a high school in New Jersey and give yourself a shot to be successful. Kudos to you and whoever helped you make that decision, because obviously you're reaping the benefits and the fruits of your labor from making that decision. And I thought that was a dope decision at that time.
We about to get out of here. I want to thank my special guest, Mr. Paul QP Ruddock, for telling his story. You never know what life offers. Sometimes we got to take a chance. Sometimes we feel like the worst things are ahead of us, and then we make a decision to pull ourselves out of the mud and do better for ourselves. No matter what tragic situations that come a part of our lives, no matter what obstacles are put in our way, somehow we seem to rise above it all. I mentioned earlier, my guy's like a rose growing through concrete. And what he was able to do for his life and turn this whole thing around to make himself to a success and someone that kids can look up to. So young people who are out there, no matter what situation you're going through, no matter how bad things are and how many people that's against you, just know if you keep driving and keep focused, you can rise above it all. So with saying that, we're about to get out of here. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching Basketball Heads, the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.
Y'all ready?
Y'all ready?